What's going on, people? It's your boy Kalechi back with another video. If this is the first time around these parts, hit that subscribe button. If you enjoy anything that we talk about in this video, hit that like button. Turn that thing blue. Let's go. Let's do it. In this video today, we're going to be talking about some of my speculative investments, or some of what I like to call big bets that I'm going to be making sometime in the future. It doesn't mean I'm gonna do this in this year. It just means that I'm looking at these stocks as something that I kind of like the things that they are doing, and I like the way that they're going about business, and I think they're gonna be great moving into the future. You will notice a theme for this entire portfolio. The theme of this portfolio is convenience. Companies that make things more convenient are companies that I believe will do great things in the future and will be very good positioning themselves for the future. But let's go ahead and get into the computer and you guys can take a look. Now, as you can see at the very top, it's called speculative investments because a lot of the companies in this portfolio don't have any real history of making money. Some of them do. Some of them have history of making a lot of money, but a lot of them are still learning how to make money, learning their business and all those kind of things. And my main thing is, again, the idea of these are big bets. If these boom or bust, these are like companies that if they boom, amazing. If they bust, I'm okay losing the money that I have in here. Right now I only have $136.77 in this thing, and $135 is of my own money. And the only reason I put this in there is just so I could start the account and just kind of keep track of one of the stocks that I thought was at a good price point at the time that I bought into it. I don't have that much gains in this account, but at the same time, I'm okay with it for right now. I'm not really trying to invest that much into this account. But anyway, as you can see in my portfolio, there are two parts. There is the big bets and then there's the hedge. Because I am learning risk management. I cannot, with my mind, just go into buying a company without kind of hedging myself a little bit. So let's look at the hedge first before we go into the big bets. In the hedge, I have two companies, Amazon and Square. Again, I go back to the theme of this entire portfolio being convenience. Amazon made shopping online so convenient, where literally you can pick up your phone and boom, press one button and you got the thing at your door in sometimes the next day or sometimes even the next 2 days. It is so convenient. It has so many different things. It's in so many different types of businesses, cloud platforms. It's even going to get into insurance business. So to me, Amazon, a company that I would like to get invested in, and it's a big company. I believe in it for the long term, although I haven't put any money in it. It's just the one that I would use as my hedge against the other bets. And then the other one is Square. Square is a company that, I regret this. Square is a company that I invested in early to last year. I invested in that company early last year, and then I was like, that was before the crash and everything. And then I was like, I need to consolidate. So I sold out of Square, and it hurt. Because after I sold out of Square, it went on a massive tear. And I'm just like, what? Why would this happen to me? And so I was just not very happy with that. But you live and you learn. But Square, the platform, again, it goes back to the theme of convenience. It makes it easy for you with Cash App to send money to people. I remember before Square, anything like that, you had to go to a bank, write the bank number down, write the routing number down. Nowadays, people don't even know what that is anymore. Square makes it so easy for people to also pay businesses. I mean, when I was working my referee job, one of the ways that people could pay me for pickup games and those kind of things, I had a Square terminal and they would just give me their credit cards. I will fill it out, boom, done. Or I had the Square terminal, give me the credit card, tap it, boom, done. I could use it on the go. It was such a good platform. That's why I think Square, as it continues to grow and grow and grow, is a good business to get into. And plus, it's doing some other things where it's getting into more of a regular business type of stuff. So regular bank business type of thing. So I think Square is a good company and very well positioned for the future. Now, when we go into the big bets part of this portfolio, the idea is, it's an article that I actually read from my guy Tolu's Notes. Go check him out. I'll leave a link down in the description of his newsletter. But he was talking about making big bets. And it inspired me to create this big bets portfolio. The entire idea of every single company in this is I hope that these will be 10-bagger companies. In other words, they will increase 10 times or more. I don't know if that's going to happen or not, but I just believe that these companies are the ones that are positioned for a major growth in the future. The first company on here is Dropbox. Everybody knows Dropbox because when you were in college, This was the first platform every single one of us used to be able to send files to other friends and to be able to share documents. You know that's true. I know that's true. We all use Dropbox. I have $100 into Dropbox, which, at this point, I'm actually losing money on Dropbox, but, you know, it's down because they had to let go of about 11% of their staff, which is not good for Dropbox, which goes back to the terms of why Dropbox is a very kind of business right now. Because the problem with Dropbox is, as good as its free service is, it hasn't found a way to incentivize people to go over to its premium service. And so that's the issue that Dropbox has. That's the risk of investing in Dropbox. My play in Dropbox is I believe Dropbox is going to get acquired. Kind of like Slack got acquired by, what's the company called? By Salesforce. I believe Dropbox at some point will get acquired because I don't think that they have enough of an incentive to get people to go from just saving files on the platform. I know they do other things like e-sign-in and all those other kind of things, but at the same time, they're trying to make themselves a fully digital workspace environment. I just don't think that in the long term, Dropbox will be able to beat out players like Google for cloud storage, or even Apple for cloud storage, or Amazon, or even other services like Microsoft, which, as we all know, that's one of the reasons Slack got acquired by Salesforce. I believe Dropbox, if it doesn't want to get acquired, Dropbox needs to partner up with services like Zoom. Dropbox needs to partner up with services like DocuSign. I know it has its own online document sign-in, but it needs to partner up with those ones. Otherwise, it's going to get snuffed out. There's no way it can compete, in my opinion, with those other ones. Now, I feel like this was a mistake. Like, the more I reason it out, you see, this is the problem with going with big bets and trying to and the main reason I haven't gotten into Dropbox is because I listened to somebody else. And so, again, when you start valuing it out in your own head and coming up with a theory or a thesis about a company, you kind of go into okay, now I'm seeing where I made a mistake. So I don't know. Dropbox, I put the money in there. I'm going to leave it in there and see what happens with it. But I don't think in the long term that Dropbox will be able to compete with other services. It's a great service. They have a lot of cash on hand, and so they're going to be able to continue growing, but I don't know. Maybe other people know something that I don't. But it's in this portfolio for right now because I got super excited when I listened to some YouTuber talk about it and I invested in it, and it was just not the smartest idea on my part. You see, you live and you learn. As you learn, you grow. The next one on here is another one that I heard from a YouTuber, but I stayed away from it. I was strong. Tattooed Chef. I stayed away from it. I was so strong. I was so decisive that I am not touching this company. And then I went to Sam's Club. And while I was at Sam's Club, I noticed something. Tattooed Chef Services was being advertised everywhere. It was on the screen at the gas station. When you go into the store, it was being advertised as the one food that you needed to get. And again, Tattooed Chef does the one thing that I was talking about. Convenience. For a lot of people who are vegans, it has been extremely hard for them to be able to just pick up food easily. They've had to do all kinds of stuff. Either they had to make the food themselves, they had to learn it themselves, or they had to go to some fancy restaurant. Tattooed Chef changes that up for a lot of vegans. It makes it easier, just like you and I can go into Walmart and buy ourselves a pizza from Walmart to go home and make. You can do that with Tattooed Chef. Again, it's the convenience play. It's a convenience play. I don't really know much about the business factor, which is something that you will notice with a lot of the companies that I have in here. But the fact that it is a convenience play, and while I was at Walmart, the fact that I saw it, I don't know, guys. I don't know. It's another one of those that plays so well into the idea of convenience. The next one is Lemonade. Now, you guys know I've been talking about Lemonade for a long time. I haven't put any money in it in this account, but in my Cash App investing account, I've put $200 or so, which doubled itself, which is crazy to think about. And I wish that I invested a bunch more money into it, but hey, you only have the funds that you do have. But Lemonade, again, it's the convenience factor. It allows you for generations after generations. It's been extremely hard for you to get any kind of insurance. I remember when I first started working on my own, I moved out of the house and I got an apartment. And to get insurance, I had to call. I thought I would just go online, statefarm.com, and get my insurance and I'll be good to go. But no, that's not how it worked. I had to go online, find an agent, call the agent, get the agent's appraisal price, and then I could get insurance. And it was like, that's so roundabout. And then when I moved again, it was that whole process again. They were like, oh, you got to find a local agent in your area and then use that agent in your area to be able to find the whatever, to be able to give you the insurance that you need. And I was like, what do you mean? Why can't I just do this online? All I need is renter's insurance. And that's what the gap that Lemonade feels. Lemonade allows you in I think it was like under 30 seconds, you can sign up for an insurance policy, which is crazy. And then the other side of it is claims are so easy with Lemonade. Claims are super easy. You just take a picture of what happened, boom, send it to Lemonade, makes it super easy. A lot of people really love it. A lot of people really love Lemonade. So far, Lemonade is only in 3 types of businesses. Term life insurance, which makes my heart just water because I hate whole life insurance. I believe whole life insurance is a trap and it's a lie to everybody. It's also in renter's insurance and home insurance. And what they've said is the way that they've been able to grow from renters to home insurance is a lot of people who were their renters have now bought homes and they're just like, you know what, I'm gonna just use Lemonade, which is exactly what I did too when I went with like, oh, what company am I gonna use for my next insurance? And it was like, oh, it's just gonna be whatever one I've been using for my renter's insurance anyway. And I just keep that going. And that's usually how people are. People don't really spend time shopping around for new insurance policies. And that's the role that Lemonade is playing. They also have pet insurance. So Lemonade, to me, it's that convenience factor. It makes it easier to file claims, easier for people to sign up, and easier for people to receive the money for their claims. And plus, they make me feel good because they also donate their money to charity for the money that they don't, that you don't claim back and those kind of things. So, I mean, I like Lemonade. I'm a fan of Lemonade. I think it's bringing in a whole new year and it's bringing some needed innovation in the space of insurance, So that's why I have Lemonade. Airbnb. All y'all know about Airbnb. There's nobody that doesn't know anything about Airbnb. Y'all know what Airbnb is. Y'all know Airbnb. In fact, y'all probably used Airbnb just the other day. So everybody knows what Airbnb is. Airbnb, again, it goes back to that, wow, it's already at $100 billion market cap. Holy crap. Oh my God. I was not expecting that. That came as a shock to me. Good God almighty, this thing's exploded. But Airbnb, you know what it is. It is a short-term rental thing that you can do very quickly. It takes the place of hotels for a lot of people. And again, it goes back to that idea of convenience. It makes it easy for you to be able to rent somebody else's apartment for a cheaper price than staying at a hotel. Again, convenience. The convenience factor is key. I believe that the future, companies that make it easier to do business, companies that make anything more convenient for people to use is the future. Convenience is key. Convenience is key. And Airbnb does that. But another reason that I really love Airbnb is the brand power. The brand power. Think about this. One of the reasons Apple is so amazing is the brand power of Apple. And Airbnb has that brand power. On their presentation for investors, one of the things that they said during an earnings report was the growth that they saw just from the platform. In other words, they said like, I think 91% of rentals didn't come from people searching on Google or on Facebook, but came directly from people on their website. Think about this. When you're looking for a hotel, guess where you go first? Google. Where is the closest hotel to this? Airbnb doesn't have to pay those prices. In other words, Airbnb doesn't have to pay marketing, which is some of the biggest costs that a lot of businesses have. Airbnb doesn't have to do that as much because it has the brand appeal. It is just so good at brand appeal. It has that brand power. And that's why I believe that Airbnb is, for the long term, is going to be one of those stocks that is going to make things really pop. So that's Airbnb. The next one that I have in here is Crowdstrike Holdings. Now, I know nothing about cybersecurity. I know nothing about this company in particular, but it's one that I just started looking at. And that's why I added it in here. It makes me actually go research companies as well. And so I put it in there and I was like, what exactly do they do? So basically, they're a better version of most cybersecurity firms that you've heard of. So they're better than like the McAfee's of the world or anything like that. Basically, these guys handle all the cybersecurity. And with people working from home more, they handle like the cloud-based cybersecurity, not just on the computer cybersecurity, but like they will create a firewall for like when your workers are not in the office. So I've been thinking about that, especially after the breach that we had with the federal government recently. I was like, I think it would be a good move to start looking at some cybersecurity companies. And I think Crowdstrike is kind of like the top one in the game right now. That's the only reason I have them. And then it's also, it's just a good one there. And then finally we have Roku. I go back to my thesis, convenience. Convenience is key. Convenience is key. In most homes that I go to, most houses, most people, when they buy a new TV and they say it's a smart TV, most of the time it has a Roku device in it. It has a Roku smart device in it. And the thing is, again, it goes back to that convenience factor. You don't have to go buy an Apple TV. You don't have to go buy a Google Chromecast. You don't have to go buy an Amazon Fire Stick. You don't have to do all of this extra stuff. You just buy the TV and it already has all the services on there. But then the other beautiful thing about Roku is recently Roku made an acquisition. If you listen to the podcast, you know we talked about this. Recently, Roku made an acquisition to make itself to start becoming not just a provider or a platform that other people can put their services on, but it's also going to be a content creator by acquiring Quibi. Quibi spent over close to $2 billion on just its creative things and creating different shows. And Roku was able to acquire them for $100 million. That's what I like to call a fire sale. They bought so much content. So now Roku, with its ad-supported model, will be able to deliver content just as much. But then even more so, another thing that Roku does, if anybody has a Roku remote, if you look at the remote, there are usually like some extra buttons at the bottom where it's like either it's YouTube, Amazon TV, Apple TV, Netflix, Hulu, all of those buttons, or Disney, all of those buttons are usually on the bottom of the remote. Companies have to pay to get the priority to be at that point of the remote because, again, it goes back to the point that I've been talking about. Convenience. We like convenience. We like ease of use. We want anything that will make it easier for us to use a service. And so companies will pay Roku to be on that spot on the remote. And plus, Roku just continues to grow in share or in market share. And as it continues to grow in market share, I just believe it is one to watch for the future. It is one that actually, when I first started investing, it was one of the companies that I had in my portfolio. I had a bunch of random companies. I had Nokia at one point. I had Roku. I had Zynga. I had a bunch of random companies. And now if you look at Zynga, Zynga is amazing. And if you look at Roku, Roku has exploded. So, I mean, and neither of those were any thesis behind it. It was just like, oh, I know Roku. Oh, Roku is a company that I can invest in. Sometimes investing in what you know will make you a lot of money. Investing in the things that you use will make you a lot of money. But that's Roku for you. So that's why I'm investing in Roku or looking at investing in Roku. As you can see, all of these have $0. The only one that I put any money in, and I regret putting money in, is Dropbox because I didn't really think about it. I was just like, I need something to escape myself, and I needed to spend. I just wanted to spend money, and I didn't just want to go spend money on random stuff, and I ended up spending it on stocks. That's what I do now. Rather than going to spend money on random things like a new shoe or a new dress or a new whatever, I'll just go buy a random stock that is very speculative and I didn't do any research on. And it helps me because if that stock explodes, I have more money now. So, I'm just saying. And then the final one on here, really should not be on here, is SwitchBack Energy. It's one that I was talking with my guy Tolu. And basically this is a SPAC. It's a special acquisition company. It doesn't have the company in it yet, but it's supposed to combine with ChargePoint. With ChargePoint, the reason why I'm looking at ChargePoint is electric vehicles are the future. We all know that. But the bigger deal is who is going to build out that infrastructure. That's the bigger question. Who will be the one that the government does a contract with to build out its infrastructure? And I think ChargePoint is going to be one of the top players in that because it has a lot of different partners already. I think it's partnered with like BMW, I want to say Mercedes-Benz, I want to say Ford, and some other ones. It's either ChargePoint. There's also Electrify America, which is a subsidiary of Volkswagen. So I don't know who's gonna have the upper hand in building out all the charging infrastructure in the United States, but I believe ChargePoint is gonna be one of those, and that's why I just have this in here. I probably won't put any money in this until I see like actual financials from ChargePoint themselves, because we don't know anything. And a lot of times when companies go through a SPAC, you never see their financials. So I just put that in there for it to stay in at like front of mind for me to keep a track on all of it. So those are the companies that I am looking at as far as some big bets that I am making or will be making in the future. Some mistakes that I've made is investing in Dropbox, maybe. I don't know. Dropbox might turn around. I don't really know. And I think that the rest of these, especially the ones in here like Lemonade, Tattooed Chef, and Airbnb, are like my highest conviction stocks. I will probably, whenever I get extra dollars, like for Christmas or for birthday or for anything like that, where it's not like extra money to like invest in my actual dividend producing portfolio, I'll probably throw some money in here at some of these companies. And I'm gonna be honest, I should pay attention to the price because it's a slippery slope when you start looking at like, oh, I'm not paying attention to the price, but I'll probably not pay attention to the price and I'm just gonna buy. I'm just gonna buy these companies because I believe that in the long term, that price point right now is not gonna matter too much. But anyway, that's all I got for you. Let me know, what do you think of this, of me going through some of my big bets? Do you want some updates of this portfolio over time? Or should I just leave it and never talk about this again? Let me know. Put it down in the comments. But anyway, it's been your boy Kalichi. I hope y'all learned one, maybe two things out of this entire thing, which I don't know how much you're gonna learn from a guy talking about speculative investments. It's never a good idea to invest in something that somebody else said to invest in, as you guys can learn from the fact that I lost money. But you know, it is what it is. I'm gonna catch y'all up on another one. Remember, generosity is